So I came across this article here. All right, this young woman from India. She says, "I finally got my passport, but I can't stop thinking about India's reputation abroad." So lately in the news, you've been hearing a number of stuff about Indians misbehaving, especially like places like Thailand and so forth. The Thai government had they used to have like in order to enter Thailand, Indians had to like apply, get a visa. I think they could get a visa on arrival. Then the Thai government did away with that. And it's just like you just show up and you can get your visa for a certain amount of time. And that let in a lot of different types of people, and that's where I guess some of the problems started. Anyway, here's what she's saying. She said, "I finally got my passport, but I can't stop thinking about India's reputation abroad. I don't I didn't expect my passport to come with anxiety. I expected drama, yes, the bureaucratic kind, running between addresses that refuse to agree on where you belong, hunting down documents that feel like they were issued, right, in another lifetime, smiling politely at officials who hold your fate in a stapled file," which also happened. And then finally, that moment, the navy blue booklet in your hand, your ticket out, your proof of arrival into a certain kind of adulthood. But what I didn't expect, that the excitement could be diluted, hijacked by a question I couldn't quite shake off. What does the world think of people like me? Not me, the individual, me, the Indian tourist. The videos that travel farther than we do. If you have been online even half as much as the rest of us, you have seen it too. The now viral videos, the ones that travel faster than any of us ever will. A group breaking into Gaba on an airport tarmac in Vietnam. Festive, yes, but also wildly out of place. Another bunch dancing on Hanoi's train street, a location already hanging by a thread because of safety concerns. A tourist in Japan caught shoplifting, and then, almost unbelievable, trying to pay her way out of it. And my personal favorite, someone proudly decanting hotel shampoo into tiny plastic bottles, like that little bottle is going to sustain the entire life. All of this in 1 month. If this was a reality show, we'd call it chaotic entertainment, right? But this isn't Big Boss. This is reputation, and unfortunately it sticks. It would be comforting to say this is just a phase. A few rogue travelers hanging badly. But is it? Just a few weeks ago, 4 Indian tourists were called out for allegedly stealing items from a Bali resort. Around the same time, Harsh Goenka mentioned a Swiss hotel that had special rules for Indian guests. Let that sink in. Not guests in general, not tourists as a category, Indians. So here it is, Harsh Goenka right here. A Swiss hotel once displayed a list of special rules exclusively for Indians, guests which I personally saw and was appalled. Today, videos of GABA and restaurants, loud conversations in airports, and turning aircraft cabins into picnic spots keep doing the rounds, even in Davos, says Shaw Moore. I'm going to read what the hotel wrote here, ARC and CL. Right? Get their guests from India. This is the hotel now. Get their guests from India. Welcome to the Hotel Arc en Ciel in Gestad. In order for you to enjoy your holiday, we kindly ask you to observe the following rules. The breakfast buffet is open from 7:30 to 10:30 a.m. Everything you will find on the buffet is freshly prepared and comes from local producers. Please do not take anything with you. The food is for breakfast only. If you would like a lunch bag, you can order it from the service staff and pay for it. Please note that other guests also want an appetizing buffet. Only use the cutlery provided. Our restaurant is open for lunch and dinner. We offer various dishes and also vegetarian dishes. If you want to share a dish for 2 or more persons, we have to charge CHF5 per additional person for the service and plate, and CHF1 for a drink. In addition to you, there are other guests from all over the world in the hotel. They also appreciate the peace and quiet, and therefore we ask you to be quiet in the corridor and not speak too loud on the balcony. Thank you very much. Okay, not just an online joke anymore. And if you think this perception lives only online, it doesn't. A colleague who traveled to Vietnam recently came back with something far more unsettling than a bad immigration experience or bad hiking accident. She spoke about how shopkeepers' attitudes shifted the moment they realized she was Indian. The politeness dialed down, the patience thinner, and she wasn't alone. Several travelers have said the same thing, right? Which is ironic, because Indians are everywhere right now. We are traveling in record numbers, one of the fastest growing outbound tourist group in the world. We are booking, spending, showing up, and yet somehow not always welcome. Even places we have historically loved and been loved in are beginning to feel complicated. Take Thailand, a country many Indians treat like an extended weekend playground. When visa-free access was rolled back recently, as I said earlier, right? What got me thinking was it just a policy change? It felt like a shift in mood, a quiet pulling back because of Indians' behavior abroad. That kind that doesn't happen overnight. The ugly reputation we don't want to talk about. Here's the part we don't like admitting. This isn't entirely unfair. Somewhere along the way, we have developed a strange travel personality, loud where we should be mindful, entitled where we should be respectful, treating public spaces like personal stages, and cultural attention like inconveniences. There's also that subtle superiority complex we carry. The reason we think we have come from a rising global power. The rules can occasionally bend for us, or maybe we are the rules. That is where we are probably fooling ourselves. And outside our borders, that attitude doesn't read as confidence, it reads as arrogance. Arrogance for nothing. Paying for a reputation I didn't create. And because of some people, we're all being tagged. Because for every one person behaving badly, there are hundreds who aren't. But the internet doesn't amplify good behavior. It doesn't care about the quiet, respectful traveler who queues properly, tips fairly, and doesn't treat hotel linen like a pattern gift. It remembers the GABA on the runway. So now, people like me, first time travelers, passports still crisp, are left negotiating something we didn't sign up for. Perception. I find myself thinking about it more than I like to admit. Will I be treated differently at immigration? Will a shopkeeper size me up before I even speak? Will I have to overcompensate, be extra polite, extra careful, just to not be that tourist? It's a strange thing, carrying the weight of a reputation you didn't build. It's unfair, of course. No one should have to carry the weight of a billion people's reputation, but perception doesn't always care about fairness. So where do we go from here? There's no grand fix, no sweeping solution, but maybe it starts with acknowledging that this is a conversation worth having. Without defensiveness, without brushing it off as just social media noise. Because it's not just about how the world sees us, it's also about how we choose to show up in it. Travel, at its best, is an exchange of cultures, of respect, of curiosity. And maybe the real flex isn't how loudly we can assert our presence in a foreign land, but how seamlessly we can belong without disrupting it. As for me, I'm still planning that first international trip. The excitement is there, just a little quieter, a little more cautious. Passport in hand, yes, but also a question I didn't expect to carry. Will I be seen for who I am or for where I come from? So this is a rather interesting article because I did come across an article where I think the government of India had complained to the government of Vietnam. I think maybe the foreign service, something like that, about how people are treated. Like they go to Indians go to the shops, for example, in Vietnam, and they ask them, are you from India? Once you say yeah, it's like hurry, hurry or get out of here. So this is why I decided let me do this article here online because I read this. This was like a few weeks ago. I read that article. I don't know. Maybe I could find it and put a link here, but if I do, well, let me just say that it's really unfair that you have like some people who give a bad reputation to many others. Because India has over 1,400,000,000 people. That's a lot of people. So out of that, of course, you're gonna have some people who don't care about reputation. They just care about being, themselves, enjoying themselves, don't care how others feel, others from India feel. They just care about doing what they want, and like the word used, arrogant. It's like, okay, this is what I want to do. If the buffet is there, I could take back to my room, and it's the article mentions, you know, the hotel. The hotel in Switzerland was saying, "Well, wait a minute here, there are other guests too who want to have breakfast. You can't just come and take. If you need something extra, you pay. You ask, you pay. You can buy extra, but other people still have to have breakfast, which is true. Having said that, some years ago, this was 2023, I went to Vietnam. I had a cooking class there. This was in Hoi An. And I did run into an Indian couple, and they were from Delhi, and the thought had come across my mind, maybe one day I'll go to India, but so they told me, they said, you should come visit India. And I thought about it. I said, yeah, that's interesting. So in 2024, this was September 2024, I decided, why not? Let me take a trip. And I took a trip to India. And largely because of them, and they were very nice people. And I made a video there, I'm going to add at the end here, where in the cooking class, the Indian man, he was cooking up something in the class, and there's a lot of fire, so it's interesting. I'm going to attach that to this video. But it's really unfortunate that because of the bad behavior of some people, and arrogance too, acting arrogant, that other people have to suffer for that. Yeah, that's how it goes, like the old saying, Peter pays for Paul, that kind of stuff. People behave badly, and then you have to suffer because of that, their reputation and so forth. Yeah. So we'll see here. I'm gonna get this together and post this video. Thanks for stopping by. I think I have the India videos on my other channel. I'll try to bring them to this channel. But I'll be taking a trip out to Uganda at the end of this month, at the end of June. So I wouldn't have time to be working in that. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, so following up in the previous article that the girl wrote about Indian reputation abroad. So here's one I remember. I looked and I found this, and I figured let me add this in too. And this is an experience in Vietnam. And it says here, you Indian, get lost. Are Indians treated badly in Vietnam? Vietnam has grown popular among Indian travelers, but some say they face hostility in shops and markets. Tourists and local suggest stereotypes about Indians may be contributing to the frictions. You see a picture right here. Okay. Vietnam is scenic and relatively affordable destination, just a short flight from India, has grown increasingly popular among Indian tourists. However, some travelers report that their experiences have been marred by uncomfortable and at times hostile interactions with locals. During recent trips to Vietnam, several Indian tourists told India Today in that they experienced insulting encounters with shopkeepers who allegedly treated them differently after learning they were from India. This despite a sharp rise in the number of Indian tourists traveling to the Southeast Asian country in recent years. According to tourism data, the country received around 150,000 Indian visitors in the first 2 months of 2026, a jump of more than 71% compared to the same period last year. In 2024, Vietnam welcomed over 507,000 Indian tourists, marking a 297% increase compared to pre-pandemic levels. Cities such as Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Da Nang, and Phu Quoc are particularly popular among Indian tourists, including honeymooners and tour groups, and even those planning destination weddings. Yet some travelers say their experiences on the ground have not always reflected the growing tourism ties between the two countries. Hina, a Noida-based professional, described one such incident while shopping at a street market. The shopkeeper allegedly refused to entertain her after learning that she was from India. I went into a shop and asked to see some shoes. The shopkeeper asked me, "Are you Indian?" When I said yes, she replied, "I don't have shoes for you. Go," she said. Hina said the response left her shocked. I don't know why she said that, but this has been the treatment in some places so far. I expected locals to be warm toward Indians because we come here in such large numbers and have become familiar faces. Instead, I found some people unwelcoming, rude, and dismissive of Indians in particular, she said. In a similar incident at another street market, Ria, a tourist from Delhi, said she was met with a rude response when she tried to bargain, something even local tour guides admit is common practice in such markets. Instead of negotiating, the shopkeeper, Ria said, used its translation app to convey this message. "You Indians come here begging and waste our time. Get lost." A third such encounter turned confrontational. Three Indian women said they visited a shop to buy suitcases but were ignored, while the shopkeeper attended to other foreign customers. When we decided not to buy because we didn't like the quality and tried to leave politely, the shopkeeper suddenly started shouting at us. "Medha," one of the three tourists said. She alleged that the shopkeeper followed them while yelling insults and expletives. She kept shouting, "What did you just discuss? Why did you waste my time? What do you think about yourselves? F off," the tourist said. Prachi, a journalist who visited Vietnam last year with her family, said she encountered similar incidents. "I feel Vietnamese are, in general, rude. I was at a vegetable shop, and the woman snapped at me and asked us to leave. It was weird. We were not even bargaining," Prachi said. Recalling another such incident, she said a shopkeeper refused to entertain them. I just asked for the price of a dress, and the shopkeeper refused to answer and asked me to leave, she said. When asked if I had anything to do with her national if it had anything to do with her nationality, she said it felt so because there were more people in the shop and they weren't treated the same way. At least two tourists also admitted facing incidents where shopkeepers tried to snatch money or attempted to take it from their wallets. In a street market, a shopkeeper snatched currency notes from us while we were still calculating, even though her intention might have been to take the amount only. It was indecent, Bershi said. Hina, who encountered a similar incident, said, the shopkeeper was peeping into my wallet and trying to take notes from there. I felt uncomfortable and left. Why the hostility? Several Indian tourists who visited Vietnam said that while such behavior cannot be justified, it may stem from stereotype about Indians, including aggressive bargaining and at times inappropriate behavior. I think Indians are also responsible for it to a large extent because of how some men behave and the extent to which we go to bargain. It has projected a generalized image of Indians that we don't deserve to be treated well, said Anjali, a professional based in Delhi. Recently, an Indian tourist also claimed on social media that locals were visibly irritated with Indian visitors. Sharing the incident on Reddit, he said that during his 2-week visit, he noticed a clear difference in the way locals treated Indians compared to travelers from other countries. He also said that some actions by fellow Indians could be contributing to the hostility. Bargaining in a market to the extent that even the street shops that have to be highly competitive to survive refused to sell anything to us because what we offered was too low, he wrote. Another Indian tourist who visited Vietnam recently elaborated why stereotype of difficult Indian tourists existed in several places. He claimed that Indians created chaos, argued on flight while boarding, and even littered around. Before anyone jumps in with not all Indians, yes, obviously, but enough Indians behave badly that the stereotype exists for a reason, he wrote on Reddit. Maya, another Indian tourist at a water park, said, if you look around and observe closely all of the nationalities here, Indians are making the most noise and chaos. It is embarrassing. Mahika, a tourist at a water park in Phu Quoc, Vin Wonders, said, I was in the swimming pool and felt the most uncomfortable when the Indian men were around. They were trying to initiate conversations, tried to pull me even when I didn't ask for help, and kept staring. Eventually, I had to leave. However, even tourists who are polite and well behaved are being treated badly. What locals claim, some shopkeepers who were willing to speak acknowledge that bargaining by Indian tourists can sometimes lead to frustration. Indians bargain a lot, Sometimes it becomes irritating because they negotiate for a long time and we cannot attend to other customers, one vendor said. Another shopkeeper said some customers bargain aggressively even after prices are refused. One Indian tourist asked me the price of coffee. I said 270,000 Vietnamese dong. They asked for 110 dong and continued negotiating for a long time, he said. They refused to they refused to leave and kept insisting while I tried to serve other customers. Eventually, I sold it for 145,000 dong because I got tired. That is why some sellers avoid entertaining them, he said. However, not all locals shared this sentiment. Another vendor in Hoi An street market said, Indian tourists are now a familiar and welcome presence in Vietnam. We are grateful that Indians come to Vietnam. Some of us are even learning Hindi words like namaste and shalom to attract them. There may be a few bad experiences, but I personally don't have any problem with Indian tourists, he said. When I raised the issue with the local tour guide, David, he said such incidents are not acceptable. You should have called me. I would have reported it to the police, and these people could never run their shops here after that. They can't behave like this. I am sorry this happened, but I think these were just some of off cases, and such people exist everywhere, he said. Vietnam reacts to India's Today report. India Today.in reached out to the Vietnam embassy to seek their response. The embassy, in its response, assured that the matter has been raised with relevant authorities who are taking measures to ensure such incidents do not repeat. We would like to reiterate that Vietnam is widely recognized as a safe, friendly, and welcoming destination for international visitors, including tourists from India. The long-standing relationship between Vietnam and India, as well as the growing people-to-people exchanges in recent years, particularly in tourism, reflect the strong mutual goodwill between the two countries, the embassy said in an official statement to India Today.in. Despite these incidents, Vietnam continues to captivate travelers with its breathtaking landscape, vibrant street life, and rich cultural heritage. From the limestone coast of Ha Long Bay to the lantern-lit streets of Hoi An and the bustling markets of Hanoi, the country offers experiences that leave visitors deeply impressed. The country's vibrant coffee culture adds another layer to the experience, inviting visitors to savor distinctive brews such as egg coffee, coconut coffee, and the increasingly popular salt coffee. For Indian tourists, the growing connectivity, affordability, and cultural curiosity make Vietnam an especially appealing destination. At the same time, travelers say that better understanding on both sides could help avoid unpleasant encounters, with Indian visitors being mindful of local customs and behaviors, and local extending the warmth and hospitality that Vietnam is widely known for. Well, I have to say that some people, you know, when they bargain, you have to be aware. Keep in mind there are other customers too. So if you're going to bargain and try to bring these people down to the lowest amount, they're not going to make any money. They have to pay rent, and they have to pay for supplies, and maybe employees and so forth. So this is something you could, I mean, I bought stuff in Vietnam. I've been in Ben Thanh Market, where it's like nothing has a price in it in Ben Thanh Market. You know, they just tell you that, and you figure, should I take it or not? You know, but I don't spend time bargaining. I'm not into that. If the price seems okay, I'll take it. If it's something I want, I'll take it. I bought a few things in Ben Thanh Market, but you never see me haggling and trying to bring somebody down to a lower amount or so forth. I seen somebody on YouTube did something like that, haggle, but I think he was doing it to show that he can do it, not doing it because that's how he is. That's the impression that I got. Anyway, so after this, I'm going to add the other video. The Indian guy that was in Hoi An, the one I met there in my cooking tour, and he and his wife told me you should visit India, you know, sometime. They were from Delhi, India. So that's how I ended up in India back in 2024. I went to India. I went to Delhi, Agra, saw the Taj Mahal. Went to Rajasthan, the land of kings, Jaipur, and so forth. It was a very nice experience over there. Delhi is very, very crowded, lots of horns. I haven't been to Mumbai. But Delhi was hot. At that time of the year it was hot. And right now I think it's even hotter as I speak. Sometimes going up to like 40 Celsius. So that's very hot. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
You can when you touch your place.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa!
Whoa!
The handle you book on the up nada.
Wow! Oh, very good, very good.
Somebody can you try pie? Finish it. You try? No. You try like?
Thank you.
No, it's okay.
Thank you everyone. We can finish. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.